gentlemen, this is another installation of Indie Comic Secrets. I have a great guest in the back. This man here is a comic book extraordinaire. Not only does he read comics and explain comics on his YouTube channel, but he draws too, and he has the skills. Matter of fact, this man don't even have hands, ladies and gentlemen. He have claws. My man, my friend, Peter DeLuca, aka Pad.
What is up? Fatal J, how are you, buddy?
Yes, sir. Hey, the unmovable object meets the unmovable.
Yeah.
yeah. How's everything going, brother?
Yeah, good, man. Yeah, just very excited for this.
Okay.
Just so you, look, here's a cool thing. I'm coming into this with little Michael Turner research. Because this is the beginning of my Michael Turner research for the Topcow Tuesday show that I do. So we're going to see. I'm going to test myself to how versed I am in the life of this guy. I'm going to try not to get too upset because I don't like.
Hey, if you want to get a, this is the Fatal J show, the Indie Comic show. Speak your mind. I don't want no echo chamber here.
No.
We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop at some points, and we're going to speak on. Hey, I like that. Hey, I don't like that. Why he didn't do it that way? That's what we do on these reactions. You know.
I love it. Yeah. This is great idea. Great subject.
Before we get into that, though, of course you have a YouTube channel, AkAPad. Speak on that a little bit.
Yeah. So it's a '90s focus comic book content, comic book commentary. Not just comics, we do deep dives focused on Wildstorm Wednesday, Topcow, we do Wildstorm Wednesday, Wildstorm Productions, Topcow Tuesday, Topcow Productions. And it's not just the comics of these companies, it's the merchandise, it's the interviews, it's where they were in the comic book culture, the action figures, the trading cards. Quick example for Topcow Tuesday, we're doing the Cyber Force box break coming up. That's one of the episodes. And it's a complete view of those two companies. And outside of that, focus on indie comics. We do about 2 drops a day. I have a podcast, the AkAPad Film Buff, that has 2 drops a day. We're right now in the middle of what's called the 31 Days of Dread, 1 horror movie a day for the entire month of October. We're in year 9 of that. We have 1,000 episodes of the podcast, but the YouTube channel is the absolute focus. And I don't know. I dig around. I try and find the topics and the stories that could be credible, that could be questioned. I bring those to light. A little bit controversial because some of these are a part of comic book lore. I challenge them. And believe it or not, Michael Turner, huge part of that because people think he kind of just came out of nowhere, kicked butt. The industry liked him, Wizard liked him. He had a little bit of a journey. That's what a lot of people aren't versed on. So that's what the channel is all about. We try and do a complete view.
What I love about your channel too, you do a lot of branding. Like your logo is you, and I see like the branding. Like whenever you're getting ready to explore and break down another 90s comic book, I see your Peter DeLuca, AkAPad stickers on. You know what I mean? Or I'll see your logo on your drawing paper. I love that branding. And pretty soon, I think in the future, that logo of you is gonna be big in the comic world, man. So keep up the great work.
It's not like I'm hoping. I'm just happy to have enough of an audience now to encourage everything. Because like I said, I've breached a couple topics. A lot of them are stories that we know of Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, again, 90s focus. But a lot of their narrative and a lot of their lore, there is things to be questioned along the way.
That's true.
And one of my baselines is a lot of comic book history is strictly interviews. And there's no other, it's he said, she said. A lot of these people, their first interview becomes the creed. It gets repeated.
Yeah.
These are the things I track down, and I do view a lot of comic book history is up for grabs, including the highest selling comic book of all time, X-Men
Yeah.
#1,
It's been
which
number
is
one.
a long form study of mine as well. And I know I'm crazy, right? I'm
No, you're
crazy for
not,
even
man.
questioning that. Yeah.
No, you're not. You creative, and most creative people are considered crazy, but we're not crazy. We're
Yeah,
not.
yeah, not yet. Yeah, but no, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. This here is the Michael Turner documentary. Pete, let me know at certain points where you want me to stop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be stopping it at some points as well too. Let's get into it. Here we go.
He was one of the he was the best. Indomitable. The best boss ever.
Courageous.
Mike just knew how to live life.
He was the most genuine guy you could ever meet.
Want to stop it right there real quick. Mark Silvestri. Considering the Image founders, is he your favorite of all time, or where do he rank on your list
Yeah.
as artist, artist and boss?
Yeah. Growing up, I had him at the bottom of the seven.
too.
Los Portacio.
Yeah,
As he has gotten older, he's
the
the
best.
only one of the entire stack that's gotten better.
He the only one that really, to me, lived that Image dream too.
Yeah.
You know what Image was all about? Because to me, when I was younger, Jim Lee was the top dog. But
Yeah.
Jim Lee folded and got scared. He got scared,
Yeah. Look, Silvestri still runs Topcow. You can say what you want about the current product, but they're still putting books out.
Yeah.
You can argue that Aspen Comics, the Michael Turner company, is a spinoff of Topcow because so many of those editorial, the editorial for Topcow went into Aspen.
Yeah.
But by far, Mark Silvestri has grown in not just like his it's almost like he's got an illustrative power now, but the way how he draws, it's and it's when it's hard to define what makes one style superior over the other.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I look at a lot of modern day Jim Lee, and I don't think Jim Lee compares. We can look at
I'm like that too.
Yeah,
I'm like that too. I'm like that too. I see it. As I got older, I didn't see it, but I saw it. And Mark is definitely superior. He's also superior at finding the best talent. He gave us Turner. He gave us Dave Finch. He gave us Joe Benitez, Clarence Langsang, Eric Basaria. He gave us some talented guys that's still doing their thing today in the industry.
And here's the interesting part of Topcow. If you compare it to Extreme Studios and some of the other guys, a lot of the Topcow talent stayed in comics.
Yeah.
And for example, the Extreme guys, some of them did, but all of them like exodus into other media.
Yeah, because I don't know where Stephen Platt is to this day.
Yeah, he's doing a couple covers. I know he's at he's at a convention here and there. I'll have people text me every now or message me. They're like, oh, like Stephen Platt's here, like as if like Stephen Platt would know who who I am. But and it's like, we look at guys like Jeff Matsuda.
Yeah,
we look at even Dane Fraga. Like again, like these guys they're Hollywood guys now. So it's interesting. But real quick, the drawing here. So the time lapse drawing, it looks like that Michael Turner is tracing, right? It looks like he's drawing this out of the ether.
Yeah.
One of the techniques, and I want people to pay attention to this, and Michael Turner taught this to a lot of Topcow guys and guys from other companies.
Yeah.
He would do an underdrawing, which isn't uncommon. But he had a way of erasing the underdrawing with the needed eraser to lighten it just enough so that he could almost like ink it with his pencil.
Wow.
So that's where like a lot of his original artwork, if you like, he went from like inker to no inker because his pencils and that technique grew by the time he was working for like DC Comics, for
Yeah.
example.
Did he do that on Phantom? Because I kind of got some vibes that he was doing that on Phantom.
Yeah, it's like you can kind of trace when like he broke into it because he did like a run of Fantastic Four covers, he did a
Yeah.
run of Flash covers, yeah, like maybe like Phantom or Fathom, and it's a
You think he was at his peak when he started doing Marvel and DC stuff?
yeah, I think him as a comic book brand was at his peak because
Yeah.
Michael Turner like just on the Flash covers because and at the time I was working at a comic shop. People would come in just to buy the Michael Turner Flash covers. They would come in just to buy the Fantastic Four covers.
Yeah.
They didn't read the books. They just wanted and so there's few people even at that time outside of Alex Ross that could do that,
Yeah.
knowing how young he was and knowing that he was breaking out of like the image mold and becoming a studio for like the bigger companies to work with.
And we
Like,
see
yeah,
here, we're gonna see on this documentary, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but on this documentary, he didn't have no training when it come to his art.
yeah,
No nothing.
yeah.
Just
He's
pure talent.
yeah, no, he's one of the guys that I view as a absolute natural
Yeah.
because if you look at his progression, he does have he starts with one style and he evolves into the Michael Turner style, but
Yep.
that's all within like a year and a half.
Yeah, because I know what you're talking about. When you see Ballistic, that's his old style. When he get the Witchblade, that's his
Yeah,
style. You
and
know?
it's like where did that come from? Like there's no like, right like we can go through like Arthur Adams, we can even go through Jack Kirby, and we
Yeah.
see the evolution of a style.
Yeah.
But Turner, it was literally like
Out of nowhere.
you turned your head and then like and the success of Witchblade. It look, I think it's a good readable book. It doesn't get enough credit to how readable that book is,
Yeah.
but it really was Michael Turner. It was a Michael Turner show,
Yeah.
and everyone knew it. And
Yeah.
I think that's where some of this like back and forth goes, where like there becomes like a civil war within Top Cow. There becomes like
We
this.
go we
Yeah,
gonna get to that.
right,
We
yeah,
gonna get
yeah, yeah. Eventually,
all
yeah.
right. All
Let's
right.
go.
All right, let's go. That's a good philosophy.
Yeah.
I met Mike in '94.
I met Michael 1998, summer of '98. I started working at Topcow.
I met Mike in sort of an unusual way at a poker game.
Mike and I had an extremely close relationship, more than mom and son.
I'd say 15, 20 artists working on site at all hours. It was 24 hours a day, and there was Mike just kind of standing there in the studio, like, hey, introduce himself.
We went into Mike's office, and Mike had like the coolest office in Topcow. He had like his couch and the TV setups and everything, and they were playing video games.
I knew the president of the company, Brad Foxhoven of Topcow, because I shopped at his brother's comic book store.
We were both at the same convention. That was both '94.
That guy right there is a good colorist.
Yeah,
He would just
yeah.
give you critiques or opinions and suggestions. And funny thing, like his suggestions were always awesome.
And I was terrible at cards, and he was very good.
He could tell me anything, and literally more than I ever wanted to know sometimes.
Anyone who's ever met Mike, they know instantly that he's just that guy who's likable.
And Mike, of course, was way better than me and killed me probably 26 times before I did anything.
I went with Brad and Michael to lunch that day at San Diego Con, and that was the first time I ever met Mike.
This is crazy. Check this out.
Yeah. But it's like you don't have to be though. You just have to be able to do the
Mike
work.
grew up
Yeah.
in Crossville, Tennessee. We lived on a big lake, and our home was on a peninsula in the middle of that lake. And we had a small boathouse and kept a boat underneath there. And
She said a boathouse. That means they have money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look at where she's sitting. This is probably her house, right? This
Yeah,
is a
and you see that statue? I can remember that statue. That's in a Top Cow advertisement. I forgot which book, but Michael Turner made that sculpture. That's a phantom
Oh.
sculpture. Yeah, that's a phantom sculpture, but his mom was the inspiration.
yeah. Well, it's
And
like seeing. I knew that was his mother right away. I never seen a picture of her before, but
yeah,
the mother looks like Sarah Panzini from Witchblade. That she
Yeah.
looks like the older version of Sarah.
you can tell he took a lot of influence of his mother because he had a book too. His mother named Grace. He had a book called, I want to say, Firefly or Dragonfly. What's that
I
book
think it
called?
was Firefly. It was Firefly, I believe. Yeah.
And the chick had wings on
Yeah.
her back. That character name is Grace. That's his mom.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's continue.
Mike was a little bit afraid of the water at 2 years old, but then he kept it up. He kept skiing. His brother kept skiing, and they competed with each other all the time. So they just got exponentially better by having each other to compete with. So he began taking barefoot water ski lessons.
Wow.
And just got better and better. They kept entering all the competitions, and at 12, Mike became national barefoot water ski champion.
Yeah.
Anything
He was a talented dude outside of comics, you know.
Yeah, he was big into extreme
that point
sports and
on,
karate, and
yeah.
Here he is
Dude.
trying it. Here he is excelling at it. Here he is being the best at it.
He was different than everybody else because he sort of was. he had
That
this
dude, a
air about
colorist,
him
but he
that
an
was
artist too.
not
He
something
he
we
does
were
great
all
art
doing.
too.
Mike was out and he was successful. He did water skiing. He was like, that cool kid in high school.
From the time he was 2, he was always wanting a piece of paper and a pencil, and he just drew and drew and drew.
When he was younger, he used to draw all the time. He drew his mom and his brother and everybody as superheroes and whatnot. And he, in high school, used to tell me he'd be the one that would always get tagged to draw the homecoming banners or different artwork that they needed for his school or whatnot.
He didn't read comic books. He never had art lessons in high school or anything, so he definitely was able to develop his own personal style.
Did you hear that?
yeah.
That's amazing, man. To me, that come from within. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and some of it too could have been, and maybe we won't find out here, but some of it too is like what was that household like? Like,
yeah,
the mother, because he's got like a work ethic, and the work ethic is a lot of times for work ethic, you copy what's around you.
And you know what? That's funny. That's funny. You said that I worked at it, and it seemed like do I want to say competitive? Because it's like you said, we know Turner outside of the comics. He got black belts in karate, championship water skier. I used to read the little things in the back, the interviews.
Yeah.
Could nobody beat him in board games, video games?
Yeah.
So he had that champion drive in him, you know?
Yeah, and he probably had a photographic memory.
Yeah.
Which is where probably like the iterations for him to like memorize like the anatomy and things like that, right?
Yeah.
With a photographic memory, a little bit of a shortcut.
I wonder if his mom was like, you know how those moms be with the little girls, the pageant girls, where they got to be the best. She probably was kind of like that.
I got my retirement plane right here.
Yeah. All right, man, let's continue.
Yeah, let's go.
He never was into comic books really, because there's a story Mike used to tell all the time. His town where he grew up was a smaller town in Tennessee, and they didn't have too many comic book shops.
Okay, wow, that's his art. That's his art, man.
Yeah. That looks like he's that might be a Dungeons and Dragons ad, but
yeah,
but either way, he's probably super young when I'm talking. He might be like 10 or 12 at this point.
That's impressive for a 10-year-old, though.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's continue.
Everything and
What do you mean you never draw superheroes as a kid? Look at this crappy Batman from when you were 7. He's like, oh, well, and I'm like, yeah, right, whatever.
He played video games, when Dungeon Master
Yeah,
and all
there you
those
go.
things came out, and
Yeah, there you go.
Avatar or something. So I don't know all of it.
It was Batman from the TV, or it was Batman from some other place. You're a little kid, you pick up these things all over the place.
a video game, anything in life, anything he did, if he hadn't tried it before, it just took a couple times of doing it, and he became good at it, and then he became great at it. And it was like that with pretty much everything for him growing up.
He had great admiration and love for his stepfather, Jim Crick.
Med school, he was a doctor.
Yeah, see?
Went training to become a doctor.
Hey, that explains where the boathouse came from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the boats. Hey, oh.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And he would tell them funny stories about the emergency room and all this, and they just absolutely adored him. So he kept talking to Jim, and he wanted to be like him.
It was not his thing. Not that he wasn't succeeding at it. He was doing really well.
So he came to us and said that he wanted to drop out of school and go experience life more on the West Coast, or to start out in Aspen.
He did. He left town. He kind of worked his way across the country and did this. When he got to Aspen, this is a whole another world for him.
He had truly never been too many times out of Tennessee, and when he got to Aspen, he loved it so much.
His personality really developed there, I think, where he found that in being himself, he was more like the people there than he was like the people in Tennessee. And so he just continued to develop his personality that way, and then decided that later he would move to the West Coast.
That's where all the comic magic is. Look at those covers, man.
I love that cover. Yeah.
When I first got into Topcow, because I was like in high school, I said, man, this cover.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because he did draw Tomb Raider, but Andy Park was the Tomb Raider cover artist and interior artist.
And I got the issue. That's I want to say this might be issue 25 when he did. And Andy Park is another Mark Silvestri great, because Andy Park does all the Marvel concept art.
He's head of visual development for Marvel Studios. But real quick though, see, when Turner drew Witchblade, it's almost like Andy Park, insanely talented, like regular artist. You couldn't get a better guy, but you rather have had Michael Turner draw Tomb Raider than Andy Park, just based on this cover.
I agree.
And there's few people that can do that. Like when they draw a character, you that's the only thing you want. And it's a little bit of the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man effect, where like that's kind of where that became the norm. But like there's a lot of great guys, Jay, that we can't attribute characters to. We just can't, like, a guy like David Finch, like, who would you attribute to? You can't. But Turner is almost like anything he touched, you're like, oh, I wish he did a monthly book on that. Yeah.
And I'm like that with Silvestri too, because I can remember I got a Topcow book called No Honor. And the art is decent, okay? But when I saw that Silvestri cover, I wanted Silvestri to do that whole book.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I said, few guys had, but this is one of it's also one of the all-time Tomb Raider images. Like I know I think there's a new movie, right, coming out.
She don't look like this no more either.
No, but they could use this as the movie poster, and would have because the the layout is so. Even like now, just looking at it, I just realized that her head is moving over the logo. Or like in issue 1, which is kind of like a no-go. But like again, fantastic stuff. I love it.
And what I love about this, okay, such a simple cover, but it's such an attention grabber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
right,
yeah.
I got this cover too. He did Darkness.
Yeah, maybe what 20, not 25.
No. This was early on when this was like early on, like maybe the first 10 issues. I know it was in the first 10 issues because Turner did in issue 3 of Darkness. For some reason, he did some pages in that.
Yeah, so they were like still in the studio system. And that's where, like, even if you go through pages of Cyberforce, like you kind of like, and I notate this too on Wildstorm Wednesday, where like sometimes it will be a Jim Lee panel or a Mark Silvestri panel, but the hair is Michael Turner, but but some of the line work could be David Finch.
But why do they do that though? Why do they do that?
Well, it's a studio system. Well, no, like some of it, it's like you heard what Mark Silvestri said. He said we had 20 guys going 24/7. These books were production, so you like even if it's Mark Silvestri or Michael Turner, it's like what do people want? The poses, the faces. So like draw the things and ink the things that are you that help us move the book, and then the guy behind you, he can help you do the card. He can help you with the smoke. The shingles on the roof.
Yeah,
and that's where it's more of a studio system. But also, if you look at the output and the quality of Topcow honed in and got way better with the studio system than Wildstorm did.
But Pete, that make a lot of sense. I'm gonna tell you why that make a lot of sense. Because if you got a guy doing the background, you got a guy doing the hair, you got the guy doing the body, they're gonna put their best into that.
Yeah, and they're also like paid, like that's what you're paid for. And here's the thing: when you look at the originals, a lot of times you're like, man, like how did like the line work is so clean and the inking looks like printed almost, and it's hard to fathom because some of the artwork is so detailed. And you're thinking like 2 guys touched it. Michael Turner touched it and Bat, for example. Yeah. But it's not like 9 or 10 people could have touched it.
Yeah.
But it does explain the frequency of even like Topcow, because Topcow gets better and better within the studio system, and it gets harder and harder to discern that. Yeah. So like these guys were even aping each other's style. But they worked around each other. It's almost like, kind of like it's almost like you had to do it a certain way because the guy's going to show up in a few hours. So it's like you can't screw it up. You have to draw it a certain way. Otherwise, he's going to get pissed. And then,
that's pretty impressive, man.
A great cover here, though.
Yeah, a great cover.
Girls.
Yeah, I had to get this cover, man. Turner did his thing. Got that cover too. Okay, so that's issue 11. I knew that was early on. And that was issue, let's see. I want to say this is Darkness issue 10 because I have both of those.
The reason he got into comics was because he was in Choi Lee Foot karate, and he was an instructor, and he wound up getting hurt.
This man was an instructor.
Yeah, how you become a black belt and an instructor that young? Because
they're young. I mean, look at the feats that he did so young.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like you though, Pete. He might have had them competitive parents. You know what I mean?
Well, I will say this,
but I hope sometimes you can have competitive parents, but they still good. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping they were good. You know,
I never thought about looking it up, but I will guarantee that if we looked up his brother is insanely successful.
I agree.
I will put money. But quick side note: look at the yuppie here. Look at this guy. This is Mr. Boathouse here. Look at that.
Yeah. He was definitely preppy.
Private school. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. With the sweater around the neck.
Yeah.
Definitely preppy, man.
Broke his foot. And so while he was laid up, he wound up doing some submissions because his mom was telling him she was good friends with Sheldorf.
Sheldorf was one of the original founders of the San Diego Comic Con.
Okay, let me stop right there because I know I'm stopping a lot, but that's another point. People that I interviewed in the past, myself included, our parents introduced us to the comic book world. Did your parents introduce you to the comic book world?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I remember...
I think that's so fascinating that our parents got us into this.
Yeah, because I remember like how it happened too. It's like my mother and my grandmother came home one day and they had comics, and they bought this, like they bought the comics for me just because they were like clearance or like 3 for a day. I think they were from like
that's what my mom did for me. Yeah,
and it was just like a stack of them.
Yeah,
and I guess like at that point they saw like how interested, but it was also like you also have to remember like Transformers is on TV, G.I. Joe is on TV, Silverhawks, like it was all like the comics at the time blended in with like the character design, the colors, and to me it was like a extension of these like cartoons, because I want to say one of them might have been like G.I. Joe issue 12 or 13. It's a Destro cover. So, but then here's the wild thing, Jay. My someone told our family that there was a comic book store near us, and we went there one day, and we went there, and the guy's like, "Come back tomorrow night. We're doing like a raffle or something." So it was like he would do these things at nighttime, and the store was packed, and I won the raffle. So like within like a week of like getting my first comics, I'm in this comic shop, and the raffle was John Byrne's Man of Steel like trade paper.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons why on my channel, why like I'm so hyper focused on John Byrne, because I feel like his flame is fading a little bit. And to me, it was like, wow, like what introduction to like real comic book storytelling. And I don't think I could have had like a better start, like honestly.
See, I came in. My dad, 7 years old, my dad brought me into and I got pictures even before then with comic books. But for some reason, my subconscious always goes back to my dad taking me to this old-fashioned gas station where I live in my area, and they had a spinner rack. But I like going to the store because they had like Coca-Colas and Sprite in the glass bottle, and I used to take the bottle, put it in the little thing, and pop the top. And I used to love that as a kid for some odd reason. But I saw the spinner rack, and I saw Jim Lee X-Men #1. It just came out.
Wow.
No, let me take that back. It didn't just come out. But the reason why I recognized it is because I saw the X-Men cartoon on Fox.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I said, okay, they have books of the cartoon. In my 7-year-old head, I thought the cartoon came out first.
Yeah.
And then the comic.
Yeah.
So when I got the comic and read it at home, I was blown freaking away. Because I said, this looks way better
than the cartoon. Yeah.
I said, whatever this is, I want another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's how it worked. And look, to take this back to Michael Turner, imagine being somewhat of a binge watcher even back then, but like when Witchblade became the TBS or TNT live action show, imagine catching Witchblade, and maybe because like you like that type of show because it's a procedural like Monster of the Week type show, and then someone tells you that it's a comic, so you're like, you know what? Let me go to the comic shop. I'll talk to the guy. He'll give me the Witchblade. And then you get the Michael Turner Witchblade. And you get one of those. And then you're like it almost like it turns you into a comic book fan for life, because that show is not it's not like the comic is so much more visual than
so
that
much
show
better.
ever. Yeah, and but it goes to show you though where and I don't think I'll make this point real quick because I don't think this is where things are. Like the Marvel movies, everything, all of it, even the Star Wars stuff, should be it should be an advertisement for the comic book.
I agree.
Like it should be you
Marvel
should watch the
and
MCU
DC,
stuff and be
Marvel,
like, you know what? Let me go.
Yeah, Marvel, DC, and Star Wars missed the biggest opportunity known to man not to connect the comic books with the movies. You should have had the movies, the comic books in the movie theaters for people to buy. You know what I mean? Just simple things like that,
Yeah.
Let's get
no. Yeah, and dude, like to touch on that, when I was working at the back in the early 2000s, we would set up comic book booths for Daredevil, for the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and even like the Fox Fantastic Fours, and we would sell trade paperbacks all night while people were coming in and out of the movie theaters. And
wow, see, that's a genius idea. That's genius.
Yeah, we at the time, we had deals with all the local movie theaters, like the AMC's and the Cinemarks, and we would go and we would just banger boom money weekends. We would just sell books all weekend, and we would order up. Like I remember it might have been Spider-Man 2. We might have sold 80 Spider-Man Unlimited Volume 1s, 80 of them between all of these theaters, which is it's sizable, but for a comic shop, that's some of the other shops don't sell 80 trade paperbacks in 2 to 3 months. It takes them to sell 80 trade paperbacks. But that's the stuff. That's the stuff.
And see, just you doing that on a local level. Just imagine if they did that on a major level. It will be so many new readers. So many new readers. But let's continue.
Broke his foot.
Yeah, let's go.
That was just the time that he started spending. He wasn't at school and he wasn't, sitting around on the couch.
And he said the comic convention is coming up, so have Mike give me a call.
His mom had encouraged him to do samples for Sheldorf, who was running the convention.
So I called Mike and I said, okay, get up. First thing you're going to do in the morning is call Sheldorf. This call is going to change the rest of your life.
Mike put together, I think it was 6 pages of submissions at the time, and went and showed them around.
Wow.
And wound up getting 3 different phone calls, and David Wall from Topcow was one of them.
David Wall, who was our editor-in-chief at the time, was looking around at samples, and he found this guy named Michael Turner, who I had never heard of. I actually had not met him at the convention. He found him actually at the San Diego show.
He did backgrounds, of course, first, and then he would listen very carefully to all the critique.
Draw me a building. Draw me a building. Go over there. I gave him a piece of paper, put him in the corner, far from everyone else. I said, draw me a building, just to see, because I had no idea. I hadn't seen the samples. I had no idea of his skill level.
And then he would go to the bookstore and buy every drawing book that ever was and just flip through them all very, very quickly. And he absorbed the information like a sponge. And
a little while later, he comes back, and the thing about Mike is that he was never afraid. He was never intimidated, never afraid. He just came back and just showed me his page. There was no shaking, nothing. Just like, what do you think? It's awful. It's awful. And I still remember to this day, and I still remember thinking in my head that this was not a building. This was a loaf of bread standing vertically.
He did some really bad pinups and some really bad backgrounds from Mark.
And all I did was I reached over to a shelf of reference that we had nearby, photo books of city, anything that we had. There was one of New York, and I just pulled it out of the shelf.
Real quick, hey, you got to think, ladies and gentlemen, this is pre-internet.
Yeah. They would call that a morgue file.
Yeah.
And I randomly looked through the book, and I found a page of a building that I thought was interesting. Very detailed, very one of the old school New York buildings. And I said, okay, Mike, draw this. and draw me this building. Okay, he went away for like an hour, 2 hours. Went back to my thing, doing my stuff, and he comes back and said, well, okay, here it is. Shows me the paper. Again, he's not shaking anything. Even after the beatdown he got, not shaking. I just looked at it. I took it from him. I was just looking at it. I was looking at him. I was looking at the paper. In my head, I didn't tell him this because you just don't say that right off the bat, but I'm thinking, it's one of the best buildings I've ever seen anybody draw.
He didn't have the formalized art training. He would always draw. He was always artistic, but he never really had either art school or art background.
Yeah, he definitely started his backgrounds helping Mark, but soon he became so good so fast.
So once he started learning.
Do you think Silvestri, he had him start off doing backgrounds, doing buildings? Do you think that was his main plan for Turner? Was just to do the buildings, do the backgrounds? He just needed a good background artist.
Well, yeah, all of those guys had, even Jim Lee, Wells Portacio, like they all had background guys. But what you do is like that's how you develop, and it's a travesty we don't have this today. But again, within the studio system, guys, again, drawing wheels to a carriage, drawing animals, like these things that distract from what actually sells the comic. So you have a development team, but you hope that someone rises to the top through that because they're still working with deadlines. They're working with it's the master apprentice type stuff. This is how everyone was so young during the Italian Renaissance. They're all teenagers, kind of. They're not going to school because they get adopted by masters, and then you learn how to do frescoes and you learn to sculpt marble. And by the time you're in your early 20s, right, you're ready to go because you've emerged. And the studio system too, it's competitive. It's a lot like sports. You don't want these guys to out edge you. So it's it is one-upsmanship. And here's the wild thing. I know it was during a boom period in American comics. There's still limited opportunities. You have to break out of that system and become something. Yeah. So again, we know where Turner ends up. So you kind of want to say Providence, Main of Destiny, not to be shaken, but Silvestri kind of berating you. Silvestri kind of just saying you're dog shit. We need more from you. Yeah. But then because you know what happens sometimes too? You get so pissed off, you're better. You're so pissed off about it. Yeah. Yeah. And, right.
Learning it. And once he was sitting around all of us, he suddenly got a lot better, a lot faster.
Mike never realized his own talent. This was raw talent at its rawest. He didn't even know enough to look at a picture of a building to draw the building. And no one had ever told him to do that. And that's when I realized that there's something here, And the acceleration was phenomenal.
He was having fun, but he also understood that this was work, this was business, and he was making a career out of it.
I was just fascinated to see what he could do. Just, all right, try this. Yeah. Try this.
One of the most intense things was that the inker and penciler page division. The way it generally works in comics is once the pages are printed, you have the pages are then returned to the artist as a courtesy, so they can then sell them.
Yeah, and every time something was thrown at him, not only did it come back better than we expected, it came back at a whole new level, especially considering how fast. Quickly, we gave him trading cards. Back then in the industry, trading cards were a very big business.
Everybody else would do this in about half an hour.
I remember these trading cards, and I was reading Cyberforce before the trading cards, but when I saw these trading cards, I said, "My gosh, who is this guy drawing these characters?" Because he took those characters to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, and again too, this is also in an era where everyone tried to take everything to the next level, and to kind of stand out during that time, says a lot. Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
These guys would be there till midnight. I mean, these would be 5-6 hour ordeals as they negotiated.
And I think it was halfway through the collection of cards that we were working on, we went, you know what, this guy is just, he's getting just too damn good. He can't do cards anymore. Let's come up with something for him to do in a comic book.
So they gave him the Ballistic miniseries. That came out before Witchblade. It was Ballistic 1, 2, 3 that Michael did.
Which was a spin-off of Cyberforce, a character, female character. It was already within the trading cards. You could tell that Mike had a knack for something, you know, and it was the female form.
Mike went from Ballistic to Strike Force, little small pieces here and there, and then from that he moved into Witchblade.
We pulled him into it, and we said, this is the right guy for the right project at the right time, and it proved completely 100% true.
Witchblade at the time, there was nothing coming out that looked like that, just from the overall aesthetics of the art and the colors and the style and the feel. When you read that book, that was one of the few books where you're like, oh, I can't wait till next month.
We saw something.
He's right. He's right.
Basically.
Yeah, he's definitely right. Man, just look at this piece right here. You just didn't see covers like that, you know?
And there was like something else that maybe they'll breach the topic, but he had a way he communicated with the colorist in some mystical way where the coloring, like right here, like perfectly complements the line work and doesn't take anything away from the line work. It adds to it, and this now, like what's on screen becomes in my view, the preeminent style to emerge from the 90s. And TopCow goes into this golden era where they had the top level coloring, graphic design, the characters, and all the separate books. And then a lot of the established creators in comics flocked to them to hijack their production process. Guys like Gary Frank and J. Michael Straczynski. Like the list goes on. So they were making the best looking books in comics.
I agree.
For maybe like up to 2002, 2000 and
Marvel and DC was making nothing like this.
No. There was a style, there was such a cool factor associated. And here's the crazy thing. You thought Todd McFarlane and all the Spawn stuff would have done what TopCow did. But the crazy thing is, if you want to compare McFarlane and Silvestri, look at the books that came through Silvestri that kind of still go today. That's not Cyberforce. Like there's a catalog of evergreen titles from TopCow now. McFarlane, really, it's like Spawn. In my view, it's Kiss Psycho Circus, but no one talks about that. I mean, right? Like McFarlane doesn't have a good publishing history. He just doesn't. But this is like, and dude, Jay, my friends that didn't read comics would see this and they would say, "Can you buy me one next time you go to the comic shop?"
Yeah, it's just look at this, man. It's just overwhelming how perfect it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, well phrased. Yeah, it's almost like frustrating to look at.
Yeah, it is. When I looked at Turner stuff, I was like, this is so overwhelming how good this is. That it's almost like I can't take it. So, hey, you felt like that too? Hey,
that's a little bit what I mean about like the elements of TopCow, because even if you look at the credit pages, if you look at the graphic design for their ads, like the house ads, they were at this other level, and it was company wide too. And Turner he became the symbol for that, which is wild because the one guy that was the true understudy of Mark Silvestri was Dave Finch. Yeah, and Dave Finch got the title. He got Cyberforce.
Yeah, and man, I'm gonna say it. Dave Finch, man, he took that book to the next level as well.
Yeah,
he took over.
Yeah, and you were almost...
to be honest with you, as much as I love Silvestri, and he's probably my number one, but when Dave Finch took over that book, I liked his run better than Silvestri.
Yeah, and I'm doing on the channel. I'm doing the Cyberforce Ash crossover. Where
that's a good one.
When Comics comes in,
That's a
And
good run right there. That point right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's like issues like 26, 27, and
That's when Dave Finch really shined within that 20-ish,
yeah.
30-ish, you know.
But yeah, let's continue. Let's
All
continue.
right, let's continue.
You know, the sword and the stone, but in our case, it was the gauntlet.
The thing is that it was a magic thing for a lot of fans. They've never seen anything like it before.
We'll take that mythology, we'll put it on a female lead because we've got a guy that we think could really help here
There you go.
and bring the female lead to the forefront and pull this whole concept together, and that was Mike.
And that was the first time that I'd ever seen anybody in comics draw women that looked like that.
Yeah, Witchblade was just huge for Mike and instantly catapulted him into stardom, and he just rolled with it better than anybody.
That was a great experience. Loved it.
I'm so happy that I finally got Witchblade issue 25, and on that cover is Aspen and Sarah Pazzini on the cover.
Yeah.
I've been wanting that cover for so long, man.
And just kind of getting things as a creator, you know, something from complete scratch. And he started talking about his love for scuba diving and his love of the ocean.
He was on a shark dive in Tahiti with his brother.
He was just fascinated that just below the surface of the sea was an entirely different world that seemed so unexplored to him. And
Mike and Jake wanted to, follow the sharks that they were eating because they said it was just so powerful.
And one night when we were out drinking, a famous drinking night,
He had never experienced anything like that ever.
we had just started talking about this stuff, and he and I have a different path of coming to the same place and feeling about the water.
he had a library full of books about the sea.
He loved the water. You know, he was a champion skier, even barefoot skier, but that was Mike anyway.
It's just unbelievable how much is actually just right there underneath the surface. And that's what Mike wanted to explore.
He was fascinated with the world undersea, and he was also fascinated with the mythologies of some of the big sci-fi franchises like Star Wars and such like that.
And at the very time, he was still just.
Did you just see that cover?
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one I was talking about. Let's see.
Yeah, I want to say, like, was that a American Entertainment exclusive cover? Maybe?
I don't know, but when I first got that Witchblade 25, and when I finished the book, it showed all the covers that was made for that issue.
Okay, yeah.
And I said I want that one.
Yeah,
because that was the first introduction of Aspen from Fathom.
Yeah. And the one thing to note too, when it comes to Fathom, Wizard magazine hooked into, like, it was almost, they were trying to do it by sheer will, but they were trying to get James Cameron to direct the Fathom movie.
Yep, and the girl from Transformer was going to play Aspen.
Megan Fox. Megan
Fox. Yep.
Yeah, but it seemed like, here's the thing, because I remember the day I bought Fathom number one. I was working in a kitchen. I was a cook. I was coming off of my shift. There was a comic shop right near there. I bought that, and I think there was like a collected edition because I was like a couple months behind.
Yeah. And
going home and looking at it, and then you would read in Wizard magazine that, like, there was going to be this movie, James Cameron, he made The Abyss, and you wanted that to happen so bad.
Yeah.
Because the visuals of Aspen, or Fathom, like, everyone mimicked the way how they use water in that. They DC copied it for Aquaman at that time, to where, like, he became almost like a water god and could make he got the harpoon hand, but they made it into a water hand and things like that. But I'm telling you though, Jay, it was like, it's hard to explain how much Fathom blew you away when you first looked at it, though.
It blew me away, man.
Yeah.
It blew me away. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
he developed a theory about there might be an underwater race of people.
And I wasn't really a part of formulating the plot, but immediately after doing this, I'm like, okay, we got to do this.
So when Mike was talking about Fathom and what this character would be, I was really excited for him. You know, and I helped out as much as I could, you know, just conversing, and he would just bounce off ideas, and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it's like,
Mark Silvestri really did like Fathom to the point to where he thought it was his.
Yeah.
You know?
Look, it gets tricky. And here's the thing.
Hey, you got to think millions is involved with these books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's also like you develop Fathom while you're working for me in Topcow.
Yeah.
So a lot of ideas float around, they get exchanged. And this is
you're right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happens, Pete. Ideas get to start flowing between two people, other people, and then somehow I own this too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And here's the thing. This is where these guys, when they started these companies, we all know about the, you know, we'll do that like another time, but like the origin of Image.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, like, you have a non-compete clause in your contract. There's a reason why when you say, look, when you work for us, like, we're going to own like all of your ideas plus 3 years out of the company.
Yeah.
You know, and these are not like, there's reasons why these are in contracts. People believe that they're predatory, they believe that they're unfair, but at the same time, like, we're about to see, right, like, why it's in those contracts, because people talk ideas, and it's but let's go.
Obviously, he knew, you know, like Submariner, Aquaman had been around for years and years and years, and they had, you know, Aquaman communicating with fish and things to that effect. But Mike didn't want any of that in his book.
So we just took it that level with him, and then Peter Steigerwald had come on eventually.
Began thinking, okay, and they probably had a really good looking heroine in this.
You know, everything we were talking about, I was like, that's awesome.
She was probably able to control water and all these things.
He wanted to put this fantastical spin on it with a sci-fi element, yet keep.
I wonder if that's his original art. Was that his original art?
I believe so. Yeah. So there's so many pictures of him at conventions during this time. Yeah. And he will have just binders of his original artwork available for you to purchase. And I want to say, even back then, you might have been able to get that for $500 or $600.
If you a betting man, though, how much you think that's worth now?
10 or 12,000 as a cover. Yeah. Like, as a cover, at least 10. Yeah, I mean, and again, too, it's not every cover from this era is that. It's because it's Michael Turner. And again, but even, like, look at that.
Because it's Michael Turner, and because he's not going to ever produce no more art anymore because he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastical spin on it with a sci-fi element, yet keep it grounded with Aspen being a part of all those worlds.
And it also became Book of the Year.
And I mean, the story, everybody instantaneously just loved it, and he just did an awesome job.
Fathom had been optioned to be a movie.
I always bothered Mike about the movie, like, when's this going to come out? There was a script a long time ago, and he's like, you can read the script. He's like, it's not Fathom.
Mike had read a couple of scripts and was very upset by what they were trying to turn it into.
Her name was Aspen, sure, but pretty much every other element of the book was altered and adjusted and changed. And
I never fully read the script, but it was about just a teenager living on the beach and things like that. And he's like, we didn't make the movie because it wasn't Fathom. That wasn't the movie.
Aspen was talking to fish and all these different things that Mike didn't want.
And I honestly feel like this is a movie that Mike wanted because it's his core idea. It's everything that he was looking to do.
So eventually.
And see, man, that's why Hollywood, I don't understand why y'all do adaptations if they're not true adaptations. Man, just think about if you really put some millions behind Fathom. That would be like an epic saga, like a Lord of the Rings type saga.
Yeah. So, a little bit of a side note. One of the producers behind the MCU, the name's escaping me. He has the rights for Echo from Aspen.
Okay.
And, yeah, and Echo is the he looks a little bit like a creature from the Black Lagoon type character.
Yeah.
But he's like colorful and stuff. And they're pitching that. And I believe if you go to like the Aspen website, like they have the presentation, they're pitching that exactly how you're talking now. Like they're pitching this as like the next big cinematic experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, but like people, like I would say, like, do people want Echo or do they want Fathom? like where's Netflix at? Like Netflix should come in and really, yeah, like give it the money. And I would say, like, and I'm very biased here, but use the panels as like the storyboards. Like,
yes, because when you do, like, let's for instance, Zack Snyder, panel for panel did 300 from Frank Miller.
Yeah, yeah.
Sin City, probably the only comic book adaptation. There was a real comic book adaptation where they literally took lines out the comic book, scenes out the comic book, scene by scene out the comic book, and everybody loved it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. But Hollywood caught up to some of this stuff too. Like you can do the stuff that he drew. I would say here a little bit harder with like where the special effects were now.
Yeah,
you can do it. So
you can do it.
Do it. Yeah,
you can do it and make it a little bit more darker. Make it a little bit more darker than what we got with AkAPad. AkAPad did a good job doing the underwater stuff, but make it more darker. You know. Yeah. We're gonna do a few more minutes, man, because I don't want to take up all your time. We're just gonna do a few more, and then maybe we'll do a part 2.
Okay.
How does sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Came back to Mike, all the rights, and moving forward now we're in 2007, and I get a call, and I wound up meeting Megan Fox's old agent.
And I think really like this movie, like he actually got to talk with Megan. He got to talk with the producers.
They're trying to be very loyal to Mike's spirit and what he had in mind. And I think a lot of that is driven by Megan Fox.
And they were really like, oh, it'd be great to do this and that. And it's finally like in the direction that he wanted it to be.
Who Megan was turning 21 and wanted a gift. And Megan has always been a big fan of Michael's. And I'm not just saying that because I know a lot of people, you know, when they read online, they're like, oh, Megan's not a big fan of his stuff. And she's blah, blah, blah.
It was so funny because she really is a fan of his stuff.
Wow.
Well, she knew about the character and all that stuff.
That's great.
When she came in, she already had all Mike's books. When she was in high school, she read Witchblade, she read Fathom.
I think the idea of making it with her becomes something that could very well be possible.
She definitely knew of Michael, knew of our company, knew of everything, and that's why her agent had called me because he wanted to get a gift for her birthday of a drawing.
And it really sucks that he can't see it on the screen because he loved movies. He was always watching movies.
We're gonna stop it right there.
All right, excellent. It is upsetting. Like as soon as they kind of start talking about his passing.
Yeah. Man, because I mean, think about it. If Turner was alive today, hey man, he'll probably be like a president of something. You know what I mean? I think Aspen Comics would have already been in the animation realm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Already getting movies made. Because I mean, this dude had that champion spirit about himself.
Yeah, and some of it too is I view that he could have, when he started doing, as we were saying before, the Flash covers, the Fantastic Four covers. Yeah. I feel like just knowing that DC would be like so willing to reboot their continuity and like that they would eventually hand off like a chunk of the DC universe to Aspen. Like similar to like what happened with Marvel Knights and Event Comics, where they were like, "Hey, Michael, like here's the new gods, and you can use what you want with the new gods character tree, do it. And I feel like he would have got something like a deal like that, either for Marvel or DC.
Yeah.
You know, like give him the Ghost Rider, give him Blade, give him like the Johnny Blaze, like, you know, like give him a segment of one of their universes to go buck wild in. Yeah,
because I remember his protege. He had a protege named
Ali. Was it Ali Garza or
no? Talent, right? Talent.
Yeah, and he was great. Yeah, he was great.
He was great, and they tackled. Talent did Wildcats Nemesis. That was an amazing book, man.
Yeah.
Where it's got the Jim Lee Wildcats, but they're fighting a woman. What was their names?
The Demon Knights.
No, not the Demon Knights. What was the good aliens?
The
Cherubim.
Caribbean, the Caribbean.
Because what's the woman name with the white hair? What's the white hair lady?
Zealot.
Yeah. Well, she was the same race as Zealot. She came out of their warrior order, and she was fighting against them. And Talent was a part of that book. Then they gave Talent Superman, and Turner was doing the covers. And I was like, "This is it right here.
Yeah,
this is the work."
Yeah, and that's where here's the crazy thing. So, post-crisis, DC had a mandate where the Supergirl couldn't be Kryptonian because they wanted one survivor of Krypton, Superman, right? Like, so there's no crypto, there's none of these other things. Yeah. And Turner and Jeff Loeb and Talon Caldwell, they figured out a way to bring back Supergirl, which is from the Shrunken City. So they use one of the shrunken down Kryptonians in the Shrunken City, put them into the real world, and that's your Kryptonian Supergirl. And technically, like Superman can still be the sole survivor of Krypton, but they had I forget the name of the city. I'm getting a brain fart. The
one where Superman always got it in that case.
Right. Yeah. Supergirl's from that.
And Turner did a dope run on that Batman Superman when they introduced Supergirl in that as well.
Yeah, and that's what they set up. And even there too, like, dude, like he draws a doomsday army in that where the Amazonians fight.
Doomsday. And did you know they took that run? Do you know they took that run and turned it into an animation as well?
Yeah, it was like one of the first ones they did too, like from all of that. Yeah,
and they only do those when the comics blow up. Those animations.
Yeah, like not only that, I think when they do it when they have like enough low hanging fruit that they know they'll have things that work, and it's like, oh my god, like a chunk of the work is already done. Yeah, the popularity. I think even at the time, like DC Direct had action figures from that run, so. Like he was I remember there was a Michael Turner Flash statue, but it was his Flash on top of Gorilla Grodd, but it was within like a year of him doing those covers. Like the turnaround to get like the Michael Turner products to market was, and now like we're kind of used to it, right? Because like we'll even watch like something like, or we'll read something in the comics and it's on Disney Plus within a year. Like, like and they'll have like full merchandise and everything. But back then it was like very impressive that they were willing to make this capital investment in like Turner inspired products by like characters that don't really need a push. Like Superman doesn't need a push.
And I think the only reason why Turner was going the DC Marvel route is because, and I think they speak about it later on in the documentary, he needed to get Aspen known.
Yeah.
And he needed money coming in for the studio. So that's why he was doing all that stuff. But you don't never know. DC would have grabbed him and put him at a top position or something, because his stuff was so good.
Yeah, I think they would. He could have been like a executive within one of these companies or doing.
I felt like
that's the thing.
I felt like he would have been.
We also have to note that. Yeah, and we also have to note that Aspen is still going as well, right?
Yeah.
Like the company never fizzled. They concepts, the comic book market is different, but Aspen is, a wildly independent comic book company that kept going, and a lot of it too is because they still mine his characters, his sketchbooks, his plot notes. Like it's no one's done that though. Like no one. So
no one done that. Pete, I'm not gonna hold you long.
Yeah.
Where can the people find you, sir?
Just search AkAPad in the YouTube search field. I'll come right up, AkAPad. Or if you're on Google and you search Topcow or Wildstorm, I should populate as well. Because
can I tell the people a secret about you?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
This man owns a Todd McFarlane website.
Yes, the Todd Run Home Run website. Yeah. Which goes to my Todd McFarlane page on my website. Yeah.
You guys make sure to check that out.
And real quick, a secret from you. Topcow Tuesday came from you.
Really?
Because you showed up in one of my chats one time.
Okay.
You said, Pete, you should do a Topcow Tuesday. Because I was doing Wildstorm Wednesday, and Jake, like that was it. Now I thank you for that. Because I give you credit for it, like all the time. But
I appreciate it, brother.
But the bad side is your head would spin with how much money I spent on Topcow since you made that suggestion. Getting the statues, the action figures.
Oh, you went all out.
Like full capital investment. But that's what we do on the channel too. Is I only discuss things that I have in front of me. Very rarely I don't, and sometimes I have to bite the bullet. But I believe in the tactile nature of books, and but sometimes we'll do reprints, but we try and focus on original prints as much as possible. So
Pete,
so thank you for that, Ray.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I love your work. I'm a fan of your channel. Keep up the dope work. We're gonna do a part 2.
Yes,
we're gonna do a part 2 maybe sometime next week. Also, I want to interview you, man, and want to learn everything about you. What comic book projects you have coming up. We'll talk about that soon too. I appreciate you, brother. And that's another installation of Indie Comic Secrets. Peace.